Democracy ou pas? For our second video, we are going to study internal factor of the internet. A free contribution analyzed through the case study of social networks. Question: to what extent did the internet democratize knowledge? We analyze Wikipedia and we already have to balance our view. We couldn't make a video with saying, oh, internet democratized knowledge because everyone can access information, because it will dive into basics. That's what we chose to make a case study. So this format of case study is kept for this second video. And we have a similar claim. It can look like as if we have a similar claim in the sense that social media are a way to spread information but are not reliable because everyone can contribute to them. But argument is different, since it involves a phenomenon of fake news, political influence, hate speech, and racism being the main obstacle with democratization of knowledge faces. Twitter bans of policy ads and the fact that Facebook doesn't want to fact check and allows any political ads are representative of the problem caused by manipulation of social network. Manipulation is detrimental to knowledge because it claims to be a universal truth when it's only opinion or even fake. Are social networks a reliable source of information? We can follow in social media expert field and subject, then you can start to learn more and gain useful content from them when you are studying on specific field. That's what we saw. But is it always reliable when you not studying expert but anyone can contribute to them? They can even have hate speech and manipulation on the internet. So to develop on hate speech, Tuba Sifty wrote a paper on hate speech on Facebook and says that newspapers are increasingly posting news reports on social networking sites like Facebook. In this way, users can immediately read what happened and exchange their opinion in the comment section of the post. And many users share their opinion by commenting the news journal post on Facebook, and many of these comments can be considered as a hate speech or sins occurring on the web as cyber hate. In the case of the immigration events in the wake of refugee crisis in the world, and it's referring to an event that is New Year's Eve in 2015 in Cologne, and the attitude toward refugees became more and more negative in Germany. So that's one of the survey made online for a paper. And fake news is also a problem, and I found an article about it which is developing on fake news on Twitter during the 2016 US presidential election. And the authors are saying that the spread of fake news on social media became a public concern in the United States after the 2016 presidential election. And analyze the sources and fake news by registered voters on Twitter and found that engagement with fake news was extremely concentrated. So it really is been a determination of votes because they believed in fake elements. So it's really an obstacle for democratization of knowledge in the internet. Social network as a case study has to divide in many little case studies. Like them, we have YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, which are main social media. We can study everything like Snapchat, Instagram, and it will ask really a word documentary to cover this question for every social media, so we chose the main social media. So about YouTube, we can say that it's the second most visited website in the world. Students can watch video, discuss content, and create themselves video, as we are doing, to share with others. Exactly how we are doing with our project. That's why we really insist on the double dimension of our project. Like we talk about democratization of knowledge, but it is made to raise awareness about the obstacles and to democratize this knowledge in particular. So we are doing what we are explaining. Ik and R in 2012 found that videos kept students' attention, generated influences the subject, and clarified course content. Student reports that video helps them to recall information and visualize real-world application of course concepts, as we can see with Khan Academy. But what I would like to point out with YouTube is like we have many vulgarization channels, which is really effective for me, like Crash Course for the American channels. But in France, you have for philosophy, I have Mr. Phi, or you have many things about sciences. You can really learn and can enrich your project for school, but also for your personal curiosity. And most of the time, the content is really reliable for what I've seen. Um, so these channels are really effective, but it's not the most popular channels on YouTube. Like, people are mainly going on YouTube for other leisure time and watching people telling about their personal lives, gaming, or humoristic video. So it's not a bad thing, but it limits the aspect of vulgarization channels and content knowledge based channels, and the more academic side of YouTube is really a little part of the social network.
So Professor, we know that you often use Facebook to keep in touch with students from Sciences Po. Can you talk about how you started using the platform that way and why you decided to begin the group Phileas?
And there are two different things. At first, the very first year, some 12 years ago now, we needed a way to keep in touch. And of course, there was the intranet, and we could send things and share on the equivalent of Google Drive and so on. But we needed also something to share on other topics. And at the time, there were 40 only. So it was some sort of an informal group, and we started to share. Well, I read this, I read that, we could talk about it. And little by little, I was not at all convinced by Facebook, because I think it can be the best thing or the worst. And I was reluctant, and for almost 1 year and a half, I wouldn't have a profile page or anything like this. So I would decline and so on. And then I realized that the first batch was leaving, and that we would not keep in touch. It's not possible, because you're not going to write to students. They will write to you, when they need a recommendation letter or reference letters, most of the time. But the idea of being able just to say, well, you are there, is everything all right? Or I'm going to that place, is there anybody around? Seemed to be more advantageous than all the flaws I could see in Facebook. So we started this way. And at the very same time, the students were on this campus, and they did not know exactly what they could do in Normandy. So we opened this page, a private group. I was the administrator along with Delphine Groas, who was the dean of the campus at that time. And at first it was called De Paris au Havre via Rouen, from Paris to Le Havre through Rouen. And it was the title of a painting by Raoul Dufy, dedicated to Le Havre. And this was the idea. We had students in Le Havre. We had many now coming back from their third year in Paris. So why not telling them about interesting to do? At first, the idea was to concentrate on Asia. So things like the Musée Guimet, the Musée d'Orsay. And then we realized that anything could be of interest. So it could be films, it could be conferences, it could be... My only regret at that time was that I was almost the only one to feed the page. And then we started little by little to say, well, there's also this in London. Anyone in London? Oh, there's a very interesting exhibition in Singapore. So could you, if you've seen them, give us some feedback, because it could be interesting. And it became Phileas because it became worldwide very quickly. Now we have 1,216 since yesterday members. So everywhere in the world, on all the continents, reacting, liking, sharing, and that was exactly the point. To have something that was mostly Sciences Po, not only, but I would say 95% of the members are from Sciences Po, and it's also a way to keep in touch with everyone.
That's wonderful. And do you find that the group and Facebook at large has helped to elevate diverse voices and bring in more diverse perspectives that otherwise maybe students wouldn't see?
I wouldn't say so, because it's not... I'm part of... I take part in other groups, for instance, LHME chapter, and there's a bit more of a controversy. We share things, we discuss. Mostly what I have on Phileas and even my page is more things that I would like people to read or to share, not to start a discussion most of the time. It's more informative, and really something, most of the time it's something that people will share without having either to complain, to react, or anything. It's more something of a consensus on artistic values and things like that, or thing of interest. Sometimes we start a discussion, but not that much.
More broadly, what do you find are the shortcomings of sharing information via Facebook?
Oh, most of the time, people do like it because the post is nice and the illustration is carefully selected. So you say, wow, that's nice. But they would not just open it or go to the museum website. So it's more, well, I've seen that, seems nice, so I click and I like it, or I adore it, or whatever. And you can't dislike it. That's part of the problem. I really, really would like to have it, I don't like it, or I don't care. That would be also I think something interesting. So maybe it's only some sort of things we see, think, oh, that's interesting, and we remember we saw it. So maybe it will come later. So well, there was this exhibition. Maybe I should have a look, or maybe I should go. So if 1 or 2 students did find something interesting, that's enough. Because to me, it's I would say 10 minutes every day, not more. And I think it's for the benefit of everyone, and including for me, because I have to keep up with what's happening in Paris. Sometimes I can't go to an exhibition, but I have to put something and to write a few lines so that maybe someone will be able to go. And for instance, today we'll have a class. It's the myth and literature class of the Silk Road reading conferences, and the idea of ghosts and hell in Asia and in Europe came when I did a post on Enfer et Fantômes d'Asie, an exhibition that took place at the Musée du Quai Branly. And for once I went and saw it, and I thought this is something we should use for a class, and maybe for short stories we'll have to write as segments and so on. So really, it was because of this post and the fact that I went to the exhibition that I made the link with the syllabus, and when we decided to select the different classes and the topics, I thought that this had to find a place in the syllabus.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.